Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Premier Corner, a live show for English learners about the Premier League, brought to you by me, Teacher Zdenek, and my guests. And this time I've got only one guest, and it's Snoop. We're going to
Evening,
talk
everyone.
about, yeah,
Evening, Zaniak.
hey, man. Hey, good to have you back. And we're going
Likewise.
to talk about game week 6 of the Premier League. And obviously, since we are both Arsenal fans, I think that's the main that's the main thing on the agenda here. The Arsenal match, the North London derby,
Yeah,
the
let's go.
Arsenal Tottenham Hotspur game. So obviously, Noop, we should remind our listeners who you are. Who are you, Noop?
Uh, I'm just a random guy on the street that you found, and then you were like, "Hey,
You're,
you want to do a
you're the
podcast with me?"
you're the least random guy I know. Yeah, you've
Well, it's
been
been a
around
while.
for You've
It's
been
been a
around
while.
for a long time, man. I'm
I
quite
have. I
quite
have.
happy that I know you. Actually, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, whether it's on the next English podcast or here to talk about football, of course. So yeah,
Likewise. But yeah, well, I'm Dhruv. I'm the one of the friends of Zaniak. And this time I've been living in Prague, and Zaniak lives in Asia, so we have switched our sides. But I'm a student studying in Prague at the moment, and I'm
still
studying
studying medicine, yeah. So a future
still,
doctor.
still looking
So,
forward.
so if anyone is thinking of getting a doctor one day, for whatever reason, you might have a medical emergency. It's always good to know one. So I recommend, because I mean, 10 years from now or 20 years from now, it's all going to be done online and artificial intelligence, and you need to be on Instagram if you want a doctor
Yeah,
10 years from now. So that's why you should add Noob on
this is
Instagram.
exactly this is exactly why Zdenek knows me, and this is his long-term investment.
Exactly.
I'll be his
Exactly.
family doctor.
Well, who
So
knows? You
yeah,
never know. You never know.
yeah, you never know. You never know.
I definitely respect doctors. So I mean, what can I say? It's
Yeah,
kind of nice that the shoe will be on the other foot, because I used to be your English teacher. So
yeah. Well, yes, yes, indeed.
not
It's
for a
been a
very
while.
long time, but yeah. You still remember that time, Noob?
Yeah, I do. I do. Those were some good golden days for me. Yeah, you won't believe actually. Don't you think like around 1 year ago, we were
Yep.
we were in the forests of Pojebradi or of your village, and we were collecting mushrooms.
It wasn't in Podjebrady, but yeah, it was in
Like
Kersko, which is like not
Kerskov,
far from
yes,
not far from Podjebrady. It was like between Prague and my town of Podjebrady. And you're
right.
right. We went mushrooming into the
Yeah,
forest.
about a year ago.
Was it like your first time ever mushrooming?
Uh, a proper one, yes, and one with local, yes, for sure, first time.
Yeah. It was
But
it was actually pretty funny, because I
it was
remember you
lovely.
you were really struggling to find a single mushroom
Yes, yes, I
while
was.
while my basket was gradually filling up.
Yeah,
And
and viewers, I must say, Zdenek, he's a genius when it comes to collecting mushrooms.
I
So yeah.
thanks, man. I'll take it as a compliment. I
Oh
do
yeah,
have
for
to.
sure.
I think there's something wrong with the. Is there something wrong with my sound? Or is it
Not at
just me?
all.
It could be just the headphones. Something a bit iffy. It's the headphones. They are a bit wonky. But I also want to say that you introduced me to a mushrooming app, which was amazing, man.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
yeah, that
thought it
was
was
fun.
such a fun thing to do. Part of the fun was that they don't tell you with 100% certainty if the mushroom is the right mushroom, right? So even if it
Yeah,
looks like it's the right mushroom, and it's like a 99% chance that you don't die.
yeah.
They don't say it like that, but it does come across like that. Right. So we're here to talk about the Premier League, and
Hmm.
especially the North London derby. Nope. But as you know, we have a few segments here that we follow. We start with this one. Matches we've seen, and got a sneaking suspicion that this time the list won't be that long.
It won't be, but if you count the highlights, then I have seen like I don't know, four in total. So I have seen. I watched the whole game of Arsenal versus Tottenham. I saw the highlights of Sheffield United versus Newcastle, and then I saw the highlights
Must
of.
must have been very long highlights.
It was, yeah, it was entertaining, and I saw the highlights of Liverpool versus West Ham.
Nice one, mate. And normally I watch a lot of games, but this weekend I was really busy. I've got a lot of lessons these days. So what I will tell you is that as a torn West Ham United Arsenal fan, even though I'm wearing this shirt right now, I also support West Ham. I mean, yeah, that's
Oh
weird.
yeah,
It's so weird
oh
doing that
yeah.
in this shirt. Irons, yeah. Um, as a Tone fan, I tried to watch both games at the same time. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine
Wow,
doing that?
not at all. But I do remember seeing a friend of mine who sent me a picture of him watching multiple matches. He's a neutral fan, so he loves watching
Yeah.
random games. So he was watching like Syria at the same time he was watching Premier League. So I'm like, wow, this guy, he's amazing.
But I'll tell you one thing, yeah. So while it's kind of cool, on the one hand, like you're able to see everything, yeah. That's what you need. You need that suspense. You want to get all that excitement. You don't want to see it in a live score map app. So you kind of get what you want, but at the same time, it's so hard to to like pay attention to everything and to focus. I think it takes away from the excitement and from the joy a little bit.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I have to say that I think the fact that I was watching both games at the same time, it spoiled both of these games for me.
Well, for me as well, when you think of it, I didn't mention it to you, but I was watching the North London Derby at the same time while I was part of the scoring team for cricket. So I was in the
Uh,
table. I was scoring for my own team. It's like an administration job. So I was watching the cricket,
uh,
scoring every single ball, and at the same time I had my phone with the game on. So I couldn't enjoy much. I couldn't like shout or celebrate since cricket is more serious, and I was part of
so,
the more serious job.
so if you guys are wondering what future doctors are up to in their free time, here is your answer.
Yeah, well, indeed.
Yeah, and
But
English
yeah,
teachers are not less mad, as you can see. So watching two games at the same time, even supporting two football teams at the same time. So okay, so not we didn't see many matches, but you saw a
we
few
did not.
highlights. I'll be honest with
I
you, I
did.
didn't see many highlights. So
Mm.
this time, not this time. But we're here to talk about that North London derby. Even though first we have to deal with this one. So what was the biggest surprise? It could be a result, anything that happened really, refereeing
Uh,
decision.
well, I must say that the biggest surprise was Newcastle scoring 8-0, 8 goals against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make Sheffield United sound weak, but it was Newcastle who scored
Hmm.
8 goals, and I thought like okay, it was an open game. It was Newcastle's game, but after looking at how their form was, after looking at how their style of game is, 8-0 was massive.
There's a context to it as well. Like Sheffield United haven't exactly been pulling out trees. That's true, yeah. They haven't
That's true.
exactly been on fire. However, all their scores were very close.
They
I don't know
were.
if you had seen the previous results, but it was usually just they
I
just
did.
lost
I
by
did.
one goal, including the City game.
Yeah, yeah.
So this came out of nowhere, in my opinion, and I totally agree with your choice.
So I didn't expect the goals to galore so much. And also Newcastle, the previous games they haven't been that great. They have had a dodgy run of form where they have been winning by a very small margins, 1-0, or they could have had a couple ugly draws. So yeah,
Yeah,
good job to the new manager. That was my biggest
I mean,
surprise.
we know Newcastle is good, right? But this season they haven't started as well. I thought
Not at
as
all.
the way they kind of finished the previous one. So yeah, 8-0. It's actually quite scary. The score line 8-0. It reminds me of the way Liverpool beat Bournemouth last season. Remember that? It was
Yeah, I
9-0,
do.
I believe,
Yeah, I
right?
do. Yeah. That was...
Yeah. And didn't you also send me a message after this that 8 different players from Newcastle scored?
It wasn't me.
Was it you or was it someone else? Ah,
It was
because it
someone
was someone,
else.
which is a feat in
But
itself.
yeah, it is a feat. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
What about you? What was your biggest surprise?
Okay. I have been constantly surprised by Chelsea and how bad they have been. I don't know if it's me just being happy that they are so poor, or I think part of it is like me just being happy, and also I'm amazed.
Hmm.
I can't believe it. I'm baffled by it. How can this be? They have invested so much money. On paper, they've got such good players, and yet they are in the 14th place or something. They are in
Yeah,
a relegation form. It's
they are.
it's how many, like I've seen some kind of stat like showing how many matches they actually won in
I think.
2003, and it's like
Yeah,
four
yeah,
matches or
yeah.
something. How
Four
many?
matches. Yeah, something like that. Four matches. It's like you can count it on one side, on your one hand, and that's
I
insane.
can.
Considering like we are just 3 months away from the end of the year.
Okay, like, I didn't expect them to be in top four or anything, but like this.
Yeah,
So
they're
losing to
definitely
us.
a top six
Yeah.
team.
So losing to Aston Villa 1-0 is my biggest surprise because,
Hmm.
yeah, Aston Villa are a great team with Unai Emery, and yeah, but still they were playing at home. Yeah, no, I was shocked by this. Yeah,
Yeah, understandable.
every week I'm shocked by Chelsea's results. To be fair,
Yeah.
you too.
Well, not really. I would be more shocked if they get back to the momentum because uh, they have fallen, and so far with the way how their things work, they're gonna keep on falling. And I won't be
Yep.
surprised if they enter an era where how Arsenal were, where they weren't winning much games, where they
Mm.
were just battling for the where they were just called Arsenal, the number 4 team, where they would just end up in the number fourth place.
Okay, but yes, but we were never like in the bottom half of the
Yeah, no,
table
we
like
were
this.
not,
Like,
but it's just that
this is so bad. Like even
this
they
is really
got
bad.
even such a good manager in Pochettino. Like it's he's a proven, you
Well, he's
know.
a proven manager, but I don't rate
Yeah.
him that high.
You don't?
I don't. He's a mid-table guy.
Is he?
For me, yeah. I mean, before Tottenham, he used to play. He used to manage in La Liga for
Yeah.
again a mid-table team. I think it was Espanyol or
Wasn't he?
Girona
Hmm. But wasn't he at PSG and for Tottenham? Like he's the best manager in the new era. Like he
was.
under him they play the best football. Okay,
Well, well,
maybe now
well, when he was managing for PSG, PSG lost the league that season. I
did
remember
they?
it was Lille. It was
Uh,
Lille that won the season.
hmm.
So yeah, he has had some good setbacks.
Yeah. Well, fair enough, man.
Yeah,
Okay, so I guess that's surprises of the week covered, and let's move
hmm
on to the North London derby, shall
let's
we?
go. Let's go.
Right. So, what do you make of the result then? 2-2.
Well, as a neutral fan, it must have been fantastic. But first of all, do you think our fans know what is a North London derby, or why it's called North London derby? Why
Oh,
not
you
London
mean, oh,
derby?
when you said our fans, I was like wondering who you mean our followers, the viewers.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they are fans of us.
To be honest, I don't know what the hell is going on, but today we are being watched by so many people. I don't know if it's the
Really,
thumbnail or something. It's I don't know
it
where
just
these people are
shows
coming from.
we have got fans. We have got fans, mate.
No, honestly, I never got these numbers. I think something must have happened. I mean, the algorithm is being
Right.
pushed. I don't know. Maybe it's your yellow shirt or something. Or
Well, you're wearing Arsenal's home kit. I'm wearing the away
I,
kit. So
I've had this before, and
no, I know it.
none of this scale ever happened. So like I'm
So
really, yeah,
so how would
flabbergasted by this.
you? Why is it called a North London derby? If you could explain it in like 2 sentences or so.
Well, I guess because first of all, should I explain the word derby as well? I mean, I'm not an expert, but usually we refer to a derby as a match between two clubs which are very close to each other when it comes to the location. So
Yeah.
towns that are very near, or it could be two teams from the same town or the same city, and this one is from the same area in London, from North London, and those two grounds are really close to each other. Really, literally, you can jump on the bus, and I don't know, it might take you like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or something along those lines. I used to live in those places, can't remember
Exactly.
it anymore. I think there are two different lines. I think there's one, if you want to take the tube, I believe it's the, my God, I forgot the name, Victoria line.
Okay.
There's a Tottenham Hale train station, and then if you if you're gonna get to the Emirates Stadium, they have a Holloway. There's a Holloway station which is on the Piccadilly line. It used to be Arsenal, but then they, as you know, they changed the. Yeah, they moved from the old Highbury Stadium, so now it's the Holloway Road is the closest station to the Emirates Stadium. So, and it's still very close to that team. So there's a massive rivalry, right?
So correct me if I'm wrong. So Highbury used to be in south of London, and then
No, no, no,
uh,
no,
no,
no.
wasn't it?
No, no,
Because I
no, no.
thought
It's
okay.
all in North London. It's just
Uh-huh.
they moved it like at 1 kilometer
I
further
see.
further up or
Because
something.
I see. Because I
Yeah.
thought like Arsenal used to be in different part of London, and it was never a North
Well,
London
I,
club, and then later they moved to North
don't
London.
don't expect me to be like a historian when it comes to the
Okay,
Arsenal
okay.
Football Club, but like this is the we're talking about the modern history here, and
Modern
and
history. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went to one game in the old Highbury because I used to live in London when I was about 20. I actually lived in Finsbury Park,
Okay. I don't
and
know.
that is very close to the Highbury Stadium. And so I went to one game of the Champions League back then. It
Wow.
was actually Arsenal Sparta Prague, and I
No
saw
way.
yeah, I saw Thierry Henry score a goal. I saw him score a goal. So back then I supported Sparta Prague, being Czech. Yeah.
Wow.
So but since then a lot has changed. Obviously we have moved to the new stadium, the Emirates Stadium, and yeah, I think maybe that was a bit of a tough period because a lot of money had to be spent. Yeah, Arsene Wenger often talks about it, and perhaps that is maybe why we were not able to follow up on those great results.
Yeah, it was because of the money, but I think he did a good job because at the end of every season, we always had a net positive amount of money to the club. So, anyway, so that was North London then.
So two
And
all. So how do you how
well,
do you
I
see
must
it then?
say, I am a bit disappointed considering rather than gaining 1 point or rather than the points being shared, we
Mm,
lost 2 points. And we lost 2 points against a team, of course, that is in form. But if you look at them from the beginning of the season, they lost Harry Kane, they lost their manager, a bit of turmoil in the club. And considering that, they were able to score 2 goals against us and draw the game. And I think they were more or less pretty good team. It was like a nice competition, I must say. It's not like they won. It's not like they scored two fluke goals against us. Rather than that, we scored kind of fluke goals because our
yeah.
one goal was a deflected in, and other one was a
Uh,
penalty.
it was an own goal, to be honest.
Was an own goal, yeah,
They didn't give it to Saka, I think, the first one.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I think
mm.
so as well. So like one own goal and one penalty.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
don't know.
Their goals were prettier. Let's put it
Prettier
that way.
and
Mm,
yeah, like it was a tough competition. But at the same time, I was just more positive considering we came back from a UCL game which we were dominating again in Emirates, and I always was skeptic for Arsenal. I was always skeptical for Arsenal in Emirates lately because we have been conceding lots of goals in Emirates
yeah.
than away games. So I was expecting a goal galore game like a 3-1 to Arsenal or 4-1 to Arsenal, but 2-2 was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it was. But well, we have to say. I mean, speaking for myself, all things considered, the fact that they played so well and the kind of form they're currently in,
Yeah,
even Son scoring a brace and just
yeah,
he seems to be getting back to his old self.
yeah,
I think all things considered, even we are riddled with injuries, we will have to mention that too. All of this considered, I have to say it is a good result
Yeah, it was a
because
good result.
yes, it's a home game. It could look like 2 points dropped, but Spurs in this form, Arsenal in such injury troubles.
And we
Okay,
have
I
had
can't say
what?
I'm completely happy, of course, but like
Yeah,
I'll take it. Let me put it
I'll
that
take
way.
it. Yeah,
I'll
it's match day 6. 30 games to go. 32 games to go. I think. I'll
yeah,
take it any day. We are a Champions League team. We have a huge season to go. So what?
yeah. At the same points with Spurs now. Like we're
Yeah,
yeah, we're at the same place in the table now, as far as I know. How
yeah.
how many points do we have? Like
15.
15 or
Yeah,
15
yeah,
something.
15.
I'll
Something
show
like
the
that.
table later, but yeah. Hmm. So
I could
I
be wrong.
mentioned
Yeah.
I mentioned a few injuries. So which of the
Okay.
players did we miss the most at the moment? So obviously Gabriel Martinelli.
Uh, yeah,
Tell us,
Martinelli. Then we
tell
have
us as a
Partey.
tell us as a doctor what's wrong with him. You're a doctor, about to be a doctor. So
I
what's
did
his
not
injury?
really, I did not really noticed much about him, but I think it was either related to the calf or something.
I think
I'm
it's
not
as a
sure though.
hamstring. As a
Was it
hamstring, I think.
hamstring? Okay,
I
okay,
think
then
so.
hamstring.
I'm
Well,
not
then it
sure if
should
it's.
be.
Hopefully, it's just pulled or something, right?
Yeah, I think it's just a pulled muscle, so it shouldn't
Yeah.
be that serious. Even Arteta, he said like he should be back in a while, but
But
then we
Arteta
have
is he always does the smokes and mirrors, so you never know
big
with him,
time,
right?
big time. Yeah, yeah. No, I,
Yeah,
I, I don't trust him when it comes to press conference. He always plays mind games with everyone.
he does. He's like
He,
Martinez of the managers.
well, he is. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, after all, he comes from Mediterranean, so he has to be like street smart.
Oh my
But
god. Be careful what you say here on this YouTube channel. You don't want to get cancelled, especially since we are watched by so many people here live. So
no, what I'm saying is like he's not naive. He's a very smart manager, and that's what I like about him. Because Wenger, he always was this naive, nice guy. He was this, everyone used to
yeah,
like him. He was this geezer,
he was a legend. Yeah, he was like a gentleman. Let's say gentleman of managers.
gentleman, exactly. So anyway, so we have Thomas Partey, Martinelli, and then right before the
What's
game we had
what's wrong with
Trossard.
Thomas? What's wrong with Thomas Partey? Has he been partying too much, or what's wrong with him?
I think it's his classic problem, groin injury between the legs somewhere. He's got some
Okay,
problems.
you don't have to specify it too much. Yeah, that's okay.
So yeah,
I
he's
understand that you know a lot about this now since you've been attending your classes and lectures. No, I mean, let's not go too far there. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, groin injury for Thomas Partey, and then Trossard. Even he got some injury. I'm not sure which one was though.
that was like, but that happened in training or something.
It was, yeah. I think
Yeah,
I think I think his name was there in the lineups, and then something happened
yeah,
right before the game, and then they switched him with Nketiah. So yeah,
yeah. Well, let's hope he
I,
didn't go to the party with Thomas Party.
I hope so. Yeah.
Maybe they
Who
have
else
some.
is who else is injured?
Well, wasn't El Neni injured or something?
Elneny has always been injured, so not
So
big, not that big of an issue, but
that doesn't count. Yeah, okay.
it doesn't really count. Yeah, but yeah,
But
more or less.
now we have a new person. Yeah, a new person in the medical room. What's his name? What did you have for lunch today, Noob?
You tell me.
You have some carbs. What were your carbs?
Well,
Did you
my carbs were.
did
Wait,
you
what
get
did I
some
have?
potatoes or pasta, or did you
I don't know. Is it,
get an
well,
Asian what an
as an
Asian person would?
Indian, I would say.
You know what I'm
I,
getting at?
I had I had Declan. I had Declan.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
type of
okay.
carb.
Yeah. So Declan Rice got injured. Something
He
happened,
did.
and he went off injured in halftime.
It's a.
He was brought off
I
in
know
the
what is
halftime
it.
break.
He got back injury.
Well, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Sort of online. There was like that's what I don't know if it was a rumor. That was the
Yeah,
official sort of statement.
he did say it was a
But
back
then,
injury.
yeah,
But then for the weird reason is that I think I saw something wrapped on his leg.
Yeah,
There was
exactly. That's the second thing that I heard about today.
exactly.
Something to do with his calf.
Yeah. So I have
So
no idea what's going on.
he's
I
nursing
mean,
something. It looks like he's nursing something, and it came back. It's like a recurring injury, right?
could be, could be. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you tell me, as a West Ham fan, did he have any injuries during the West Ham season? Like, was there some common
Um,
injury?
he
Because I,
almost
yeah,
always played.
exactly,
He is not injury prone, but
at all. Yeah,
I'd heard about the back stuff before.
right.
So can you hear anything? Sorry,
Nothing.
there was a fan going on in my room for a second. Okay, let me test this. Yeah, I need to turn on a fan, or someone in my room needs to turn on a fan. Let's put it that way. And I just want to test whether it's audible to you or the listeners.
Okay, try it.
How's that? Can you hear it?
Not at all.
Oh,
You have a really
okay,
good fan.
okay. So that no, it's not the fan. It's the mic. I've got a
Okay,
really good mic. The mic suppresses everything, all the sounds. So see, I'm speaking like this. Can you hear anything?
nothing.
Not that well, right? That's why, because the fan is over there. So
Some really good sound cancellation, noise cancellation
exactly,
stuff.
exactly, exactly. But
So
we are not here to talk about fans
sound. We're
of
talking
this
about,
kind. We can talk about
yeah,
football fans, but
yeah.
not the fans you need to keep yourself cool.
So yeah, back to Rice. Yeah, he has got something with his back, something with his knee. I don't know. Let's hope the reports come out and we'll see what's he up to. But he's an integral part of the team,
Mm.
and we need him. We need him.
You know, it's like the funniest thing ever. Like me supporting West Ham and Arsenal, and I must have been the only West Ham fan who was happy about Rice going to Arsenal. I just love that transfer.
Yeah, I think so. I think you were the only one.
Yeah, I enjoy that a lot because I know how good he is, and I think now Arsenal fans are coming round to him. Like they finally can see what West Ham fans had been talking about. And do you agree that
I agree.
it wasn't that obvious before you actually saw
Yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
play?
I know at the beginning of the season I was like, okay, he's good, but he's
Mm.
not like world class, or like when how everyone says like, oh, he's phenomenal. He's the next big thing. I'm like, because Arsenal, we have had top class midfielders. If you think of it, Ozil,
Mm.
Wilshere, like the amount of potential we have had. I'm like, who is
Yeah.
Rice compared to that? Like
Well,
Wilshere, 18-year-old
he,
Wilshere.
he's a different kind of player. That's the problem, yeah. So he's world class, but in sort of areas, his sort of skill set is a bit different from what you would consider a world class player because everyone imagines Messi or Ronaldo, someone who scores a lot of
No, no,
goals
no.
or creates a lot of assets, but that's not the kind of player he is. He is more like the Kante kind of player. Like it's excellent at tackling, great positioning, a leader, a natural leader, great
He's
heading.
he's the perfect example of a modern day footballer. Perfect example.
Absolutely, and team player as well. So like,
Big time,
oh
big
my
time.
god, he's gonna be so important for Arsenal going forward. Just watch
I
it.
I still don't see him as a captain really, because he sometimes behaves like a brat.
I know what
Considering,
you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah,
But
because I've
he's
seen him like arguing with Odegaard a couple of times,
did you?
and yeah, I did. I don't remember which game it was, but Odegaard, he misplaced a pass to Odegaard, and Odegaard
Yeah.
complained, and then Rice was just all over him. I'm like,
Mm.
excuse me, who are you talking to? But yeah, whatever. That's Rice
Yeah.
for you.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's got a back injury, and I think that kind of changed the game a bit because we were subbed in for Jorginho, who
Yeah,
costed
who
us the
made
game.
cost us the game. He made a mistake after his someone displaced him or tackled him, and he lost the ball, and then Son scored.
But I like the response that Arteta had for Jorginho, because when everyone said like, okay, do you guys, what do you think of Jorginho's performance and stuff, and the way Arteta backed him, and I believe the way how everyone else backed him in the dressing room just
Yeah,
shows that we are still together as a unit. We
I
move
think
on.
I think he's very popular, Jorginho. Like everybody talks about him in a positive way. Like everybody says like how technical he is, and I have to say I'm so surprised. I
You know what
remember
I think?
all these penalties from Chelsea, but like he's better than I thought.
Yeah, he is. But you know what I think? Sometimes I
Yep.
feel like, at least in Arsenal, I feel like he's a player manager. I don't think he's a full time player at Arsenal. I think he is because the, look at the amount of time he has got. Look at the amount of minutes he has gotten to play for us. He has barely played for Arsenal
Yeah.
this season, and
It
he's yet
yeah.
involved.
It
We
looks
talk
like he
about him.
accepted his role. He's a squad player, absolutely, and
He
he
is. He is.
accepted his role, and he's okay with it. And yet, whenever he is brought on, he does the job,
Yeah.
and he's good at it. He slows down the game. He sees games off, yeah, and he's quite reliable. Well, it didn't really pan out that way in this game, but usually, and he's great at penalties as well. So it's like a, let's say, backup to Saka and Odegaard now, I think. Yeah,
Exactly. And you have to understand, many people they talk about him, about his wisdom first than his abilities. People
mm,
talk about his brain, how he understands the game, how he
yeah,
advises players. And I think he's great for the nurturing of our squad, considering we are one of the youngest teams in the Premier League, if
yep.
not the youngest. So yeah, well, Jorginho. But what do you think of Raya? It was his third
Yeah,
game in a row.
that's one of my questions I want to ask you about. So obviously we've got a new keeper. It was one of our signings this year, the late
David
signing
Raya.
from Brentford, the goalkeeper. Even though we already have Ramsdale, who is uh, England international, and someone who played so well last season. He got the most clean sheets or something. Got some kind of
No, no.
award. Not the most clean sheets, but he was one of the best.
Something. Yeah, he was one of the
He won
best.
something, yeah. And then towards the end, I think he lost his form a bit, and I think everyone remembered it. And now, he just Raya just got his chance, and it looks like Arteta is sticking with him. And then there is a lot of obviously a lot of noise about this. Fans are, I think, divided. Piers Morgan, not my favorite person, but
Right.
he says that Arteta undermined Ramsdale with this decision.
I think that's just English bias. Like
Mm-hmm.
an English person will always support an English player. Always, no matter what happens, they will always
Mm-hmm.
rate them. They will always overrate them. This is what I've seen as a neutral fan, someone who's not from Europe. I think that English fans they always overrate their players because
Be
I don't see.
careful what you say. You sound judgmental yourself now. I
No,
don't
I'll
know,
say
man.
that.
Like, I know what you
I'll say
mean. Like
that.
maybe it's a little bit there, but I would say that everybody does that a little bit. Even I find it really hard when people start criticizing Tomáš Souček, the Czech national captain, and
Yeah.
the West Ham fans were all over him last season. Oh my God! When I watched the
And
football,
look at him this
foot,
season. He's been
wait, hang
so
on,
good.
the football fan channels, like he got so much stick, and it was so unfair at times. I don't want to say always. Sometimes it was deserved, but then he got into this sort of like Maguire position almost. He
Really?
became that villain, that guy that was blamed for everything. I couldn't stand it. I stopped
Wow.
commenting on the channels because I just knew at that point that it became. While I admit I'm biased because I'm Czech, the way he was treated, it was the Maguire sort of vibe. It gave me that
Wow.
Maguire vibe where like your own fans undermine one of your most important players,
Hmm.
the player that really elevated the team and was part of the big success. But I know what I like about Souček is that he doesn't seem to care. He's like this. He has this personality that is just he just keeps going, doesn't doesn't listen to all this, and that's how he will win the fans over. I know he will because he has that. I don't know if it's like what to call it, but like that happy, not happy, that positive mindset. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I
And
remember like last season, Sofal and Sochek, they both weren't that great.
yeah,
I must say they were poor in simple words, or if in one word, if I would like to describe them. But this season, I'm not following Sofal that much, but Sochek has been really good, considering there's Ward Prowse
yeah,
and what's his name, Lucas Paqueta. Souček, he has made his position as a third midfielder for West Ham.
which is surprising because everybody saw him out of the team after.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Ward Prowse has been amazing for West Ham, yeah,
he has been
and
top notch.
Oh, no, oh my God, he got a return in every single game, like either an assist or goal, except this last game against Liverpool. But he has been incredible, and now with the set piece threat for West Ham, like he's just his delivery is
Yeah, yeah,
always top notch, top drawer,
yeah.
and
I
he
must
doesn't
say,
need. Yeah.
until you guys signed James Ward-Prowse, I really thought like David Moyes, he wasn't doing a great job at West Ham. I really thought like he's not the right manager for you folks for West
Hmm.
Ham. And then the moment the moment he got Ward-Prowse, and the moment he changed the impact, the way he changed the whole game, I was like, okay, this is amazing. This is what you call trust the process. This is what you call a proper project, and it's fantastic. Hats off, really hats off.
Yeah, I mean, I was so surprised by this turnover as well, and it didn't really start very well with Paqueta. Was supposed to leave to City, and then he stayed
Yeah,
because of the betting scandal allegations surrounding Lucas Paqueta. So Paqueta is, I think, is the best player at West Ham now. Like he is the best.
really.
He's like a world class. He is amazing. He
No,
just
he
needs
is
to.
amazing.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, I think this season he's had a new position. Doesn't he play more on the wing?
Uh, Not always. Like it's. I don't think it's his best position, but I think in order to make it all work and fit in all those new midfielders like Ward Prowse and what's his name Alvarez, he he had and keep Soucek because, as West Ham fans would say, Soucek is Moyes' sort of favorite. So in order to keep him in, in the team, Paqueta had to be put on the wing. You are right, but he's such a good player that he's intelligent. He's footballing intelligent and technique. It doesn't. I don't think it matters where he plays. He can play a deep lying midfielder. He can play in just under the striker or on the wing. It doesn't really matter because he will always be able to play his game, in my opinion. So Paqueta,
Yeah,
he's very flexible, versatile. Yeah.
yeah.
We've got a
So
few comments here. I have to. We've got a commenter. I need to. First of all, thank you for stopping by. Happy Hammerat. She's a West Ham fan, so she
yes,
must have liked our chat. Even though we are supposed to be talking about the Arsenal team, we somehow went off on a tangent and started talking about West Ham. So Happy Hammerhead says, "Evening chaps, poor Rice." I think we were making fun of him. I think with the with the jokes about your lunch or something. Happy Hammerhead found that amusing. I think then she agrees that Soucek found his form again this season. Then she said he's just signed a new 4-year deal with us too, which hasn't officially been announced yet. Happy Hammerhead for some reason. Tell me why. Why? It seems like it wouldn't be well received or something. Why hasn't it been announced as the next big thing? I must eat humble pie with WordPress because I wasn't keen on signing him. Yeah, I think most people didn't expect him to be this good.
yeah,
And Moise loved child, so it's okay. It's okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Well, he did pull him out of trouble, right? Because when he joined, West Ham are about to get relegated. He scored a couple of goals and then managed to stay up. So I guess Moyes is this kind of loyal type of guy. So he's rewarding him, even though he's playing shit. He's still rewarding him for his loyalty. By the way, this is not what I think. This is the West Ham fan sort of story narrative. Okay, the not me though, because I think he's better than that. So Noop,
yeah.
let's get back to Arsenal here. So what else could we discuss? So what else is there? Nope. Let me just have a
Uh,
look at the questions I have. I guess we could mention Son then,
he
Huming
was,
Son,
yeah.
who I thought.
Madison. I want to talk about Madison
Okay, Madison
because
Square Garden or what?
no, no, no. I'm talking about James Madison,
Of course, yeah.
uh, the player who celebrates with a dart celebration.
But he did say before joining Spurs that he was on record saying that he hates Spurs or something when he was playing for Leicester. He
Mate,
would never go to Spurs or something.
almost at the end of almost at the end of every season, we always had links with Madison. We were like, Arsenal is interested in getting Madison. Arsenal
Yeah.
interested in getting Madison, and then he just joined Spurs. I
Mm.
mean, at the moment we don't need him, honestly, but good for Spurs, good for him. He has been phenomenal. I think he probably found his club finally, where he can succeed, where he can, show his quality. Because I
Isn't
really
it?
rate him high.
Absolutely agree. But isn't it interesting that sometimes it's not about just you, but it's about the players you play with. Like it will be the same with Ward Prowse. West Ham will make him better because of the players he's surrounded by, rather than the folks he had at Southampton. He was the best player there. He was the captain, but he can only do so much as an individual if the players you play with are not world class. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be
yeah.
similar with Madison because he is a
And
clever
similar
player.
with Rice.
Okay, are you taking the piss now? Because we have got
No,
some West Ham fans watching.
it was just the right timing. It's all about the timing.
Okay, then. Yeah, you might be
But
right. But
yeah,
what I wanted to say about Madison is that someone like Son will thrive on his passing
yeah.
skills and the through balls, and it just he has that pace that Madison will see it all. He will just pass the ball in the right place in the pocket, and Son will take it and score goals. It's actually quite scary. Uh, And you would think that after them losing Harry Kane, right? By the way, didn't you hear that there is some sort of is that true that there's some sort of buyback clause, by the way, for Harry Kane from Bayern Munich?
I don't think there is the so-called buyback clause. You could call it buyback, but I think there is an option where Tottenham can bid for him again, and depending on Harry Kane, if he wants to get back to his
Really?
ex, if he wants to get back to his toxic ex,
Uh, Man, she was great. She just wasn't able to win anything for him.
well, usually in football, getting back to your toxic ex or getting back to your ex is not a great thing, considering what
Why?
happened to considering what happened to Ronaldo. If you look at it, I mean, Harry Kane is probably what Ronaldo was to United, the homegrown elite player.
You
But
mean the
yeah,
guy that was supporting Arsenal as a child?
well, I mean, look at him now. He still supports Arsenal, considering he's playing in red and white.
He's drinking Budweiser beer now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is,
Bratwurst and
and I'm sure, just like how many English fans they talk about the way he speaks English, I'm sure he must be speaking Bavarian already.
well, obviously he's gonna do that. But
Yeah,
I have to say though, like without, you know, um, pulling any more punches at him, he has hit the ground running at the Bayern Munich team. He
yeah, yeah.
has just scored a hat trick. He scores in almost every single match. He's on penalties already. I mean, it looks like he really slotted in well at the
Yeah,
Allianz Arena. Yeah?
yeah, good for him. But anyway, let's get back to Tottenham. We are we okay. Anyway,
We are
let's get.
talking about Tottenham. We are talking about Harry Kane. Come on, if anyone is Tottenham, it's Harry Kane.
Well, now there is, instead of Hurricane, there is H Sun. That is Heung-min Sun. So yeah, he has been phenomenal. He's got back to his old position, because I remember a couple seasons ago, Hurricane, he had a long-term injury, and it was Sun who took his position, and Sun was brilliant, playing a false nine kind of position or playing a striker, and that's when he was called Sonaldo by Mourinho, if you remember.
I don't, but I have to say, as an Arsenal fan, that he is a proper son of a. He's so good.
He's really good.
He's amazing. But actually, he did struggle last season. So
He
I'm
did,
kind of,
yeah.
I'm happy for him in a way that he found his form, because I think he's one of those players that you sort of secretly like. I can't say love, but you kind of like them for who they are, and you respect them as football players for the way they behave. And he's
Mm.
one of those guys. It's never going to be a Richarlison, but
No,
Son.
never, never, no. I mean, Brazilian players usually, I don't know about Paqueta, but usually Brazilian players, they're tough to like, Even Jesus, like, I don't really like when he dives
You
sometimes.
don't like Jesus. You don't like
Like,
when he
when he dives a
Did you
lot,
say die or dives?
when he dives a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I understand, like, he does get seriously injured, but there is too much of extra seasoning going on in their samba style of play.
I mean, it's not everyone is like that. Come on, like you've got some Brazilians who are not like Casemiro isn't like that, right?
I don't think so. I have seen him playing for Real Madrid, and yeah, he's not a
He's a
likable player.
he's a proper geezer.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but I don't know. I don't want to get into that much. Yeah. So, what do you think about our subs? First of all, in Ketia starting. So, a few years ago, an Arsenal fan would say like he's not good enough, but he sort of convinced the manager that he should be around the team, and he's part of the team. He's not the worst player, right? He's all right, but is he
What I
what we
what I
need?
what I like about him is I like his passion. I like how he handles pressure. I like uh, how he's still playing for Arsenal, unlike
Yeah,
Balogun. And well, chances will always come for us. He's a homegrown player,
yeah.
so I like all that about him. Regarding his footballing abilities, I think he's too inconsistent for us to start in the starting 11, considering all of our players can score.
Hmm.
So I really don't think he should have started the game.
Yeah.
I think Arteta should have gone with someone else. For example, Reece Nelson or
Yeah,
Emil Smith Rowe, who can be a proper left wing player.
you're right. What it looks to me like there's a clear pecking order. That's it. Like it looks like he's just Nketiah at the moment is ahead of the pecking order, and it's gonna be difficult for Reece Nelson to get there.
Yeah,
And yeah, well, Emil Smith Rowe though, like he is a talented player. So I think he's gonna get his chance. There's gonna be a lot of matches for Arsenal to play now with
yeah,
the Champions League and
yeah. There are always these two
um,
questions in a starting 11 for me. Whenever our lineups are out, because one question is why does Havertz start almost every game, and second thing is why doesn't Emil Smith Rowe
you
get
know
to play every game?
Havertz is like Soucek for West Ham fans. Is That's what Havertz is for Arsenal fans right now.
Well, he's for everyone except for Bayer Leverkusen. But what my question is, Havertz gets to play every game, but Emil Smith
Not,
Rowe he
not
doesn't.
anymore. Not anymore, Noop. Havertz didn't start the last 2 or 3 games or something.
No, the point is not to get to start. The point is to get to play.
Yeah, but he is
Because
losing his position because
he is.
Arteta started him the first few matches, and then I don't want to say he listened to the fans, but he saw what we saw, and he's benched him since. And
He
I think
is.
it's just I think he can see different qualities from other players in him. That's it. Like,
But the only
he's
thing
more
is, why doesn't
physically.
Emil Smith Rowe get to play?
Yeah, he should get his chance, right?
He's
That's
a
weird.
fantastic. The impact he provides to the team,
Mm.
he's
I-
amazing. He's
It must be
fantastic.
some sort of like confidence issue or something like that. It can't be the
Could
fitness
be.
issue. He has been
He
healthy
has been.
for a
Yeah.
long time now. So I don't know.
I
Must be
mean,
a confidence thing.
he has had quite some setbacks during the season.
Yeah,
Like he often gets injured, but whenever he plays, he doesn't take too much of time to get back to his form. I
yeah,
remember during preseason he was playing under 21 for England.
yeah.
He was the main guy. He was just scoring,
No,
assisting in
I
and
get.
out
I was really glad because there were some rumors uh, of
of
him
Chelsea.
going to Chelsea, and he was
Yeah,
linked
yeah.
with Chelsea, maybe in even other teams. So I was very happy that he stayed because I see his future at Arsenal, and Arsenal will need him. You know.
I mean, there's a reason he's having the number 10 jersey, so he's a big player.
Exactly, exactly. Okay,
So yeah.
so Nrup, I'm gonna quickly show the table now. So I apologize to those of you who support teams who are not in this table because it would be too big to show it all on screen. So I can only show you the first 8 places. And
14.
as,
We have got
as we can
14
see,
points.
Manchester City on top with 18 points. They won every single game so far. Liverpool, 2 points behind. It looks like Liverpool are back to their best.
I think Liverpool are the new dog. Liverpool are back, as in the old Liverpool is back, because often we are still talking about, when everyone talks about Liverpool, we are still talking like, yeah, they have had poor season, they are losing their position, they are not playing Champions League football, but you have to realize they are in form. They have had like what 15 games in a row, all wins. They've had a good streak.
Yeah, exactly. And now we can see obviously Brighton. Oh my God, they just lost that one game against West Ham. That seemed like a fluke, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. That seemed like a real fluke because West Ham had fantastic counter-attacking in that game, and
yeah.
it was just such a surprising result and performance from Brighton. But other than that, they won every single game and they have been amazing. Tottenham, what can I say?
That's a surprise.
Yeah, they're
Number
they're they're
four,
thereabouts there and thereabouts. Aston Villa, I guess they continue their form from last season. West Ham United
surprise.
absolutely started in an amazing fashion, but then the last two games they lost their last two games, although arguably against the top two teams. So hopefully they now manage to beat Sheffield United, and Newcastle United started off with I
They
think
started off really well, but then later they just had a bad run. Like they
no
faced
it's the
Liverpool, they
it's the
faced
other way.
City.
I think it's the other way around. They got one win from the first four matches, and then they won their last two games. Yeah, I think it's
Uh-huh, I
yeah. I
see.
think you have to look at the latest games are on the right. I think yeah, because you can't be the match on the left cannot be the Sheffield game, right? Because they won that
Yeah, they won.
Sheffield
But
United.
Newcastle, they have been unlucky because they had a back-to-back games against City, against Liverpool and City, and they just lost their confidence.
Yeah, but I think they will be back now. You know,
Yeah, they will be. They will be.
a real force
So
to be reckoned with, and real money to be reckoned with as well.
yeah,
So let's do the hero of the week now.
let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Son for that brace in the North London derby. It's a great achievement.
Fair call.
Didn't he also score a hat trick like the round before or two rounds before that? I think he did score a hat trick recently as well.
I think so. Yeah, I do remember something about Sun, but yeah, well, he has been great, good form.
I think Haaland is in trouble almost.
I wouldn't call that yet. It's just 6 games. Haaland, he's phenomenal. Anyway, so my hero of the week would be Kieran Trippier, and that's because of his
Of,
performance.
of your fantasy team, I know.
No, I don't have him in the
Oh,
fantasy
you
Premier
don't?
League. I don't, unfortunately, but it's because as a defender,
Mhm.
he had hat trick of assist,
Yeah,
and along with that, he didn't concede any goals. He didn't let his team down. 8-0. That was a solid win. Before that, they had a poor run of form. They couldn't score enough goals, and look at them right now. They weren't
I
playing with their best players.
he he was one of the players that really turned that Newcastle team around. Like he completely changed the team. You know, after that
Yeah,
acquisition from the Saudi Arabia.
yeah. I
Um,
really thought, I really thought, like in this season, it's Sandro Tonali and Alexander Isak would be the core players of the team, but he's still the core player.
of course, he is. He's on the set
And
pieces, and you know, he's a real leader of the team as
yeah,
well.
he is. I must say,
So,
after leaving Tottenham, he's had a great form.
all right then. Okay, I'm gonna give the villain of the week to Gusto, the Chelsea player who got
Malo
sent off
Gusto.
for a really
Yeah,
bad tackle. Don't know who it was against, but it was one of
it
the
was against. Yeah, yeah,
One
Villa.
of the Aston Villa players. And the reason is a big deal is because Chelsea went on to lose that game. You know, like obviously he weakened his side. Chelsea were reduced down to 10 men, and then it doesn't always end this way, but in this case it did. And then
Yeah, well, not
uh,
not to forget that he was their important asset, considering they lost their captain.
James,
That is James
Reece James.
Reece James, or Reece James, and he was the only hope for the right back position, and they lost him now.
So
So
hopefully Reese will be nursed back, or they will have to pull out a rabbit out of the hat. And would
Yeah.
you play? Would you play the right back at Chelsea in the room?
Me?
Why not? You have experience from cricket.
Well, we don't have right back positions,
You
but
know,
I
the
think
advantage the advantage is if something happens to you, if because obviously this is a cursed position for Chelsea. If something
Hmm.
happens to you, you can sort of self treat because you're a doctor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Whatever. As a Chelsea, I won't be going to Chelsea no matter what happens. I'll tell you that. I don't like that club. For me, I
That
see them as the biggest rivals for Arsenal.
even bigger than Tottenham.
Oh, for sure. I think they are bigger for me in modern day at the Emirates Arsenal. I see them as the biggest rivals considering
Hmm.
what they have achieved and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's fair play, fair play. I'm not a big fan of Chelsea myself, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's see what happens. Although it is kind of, I almost like pity them for what is happening to them right now. It's almost like, can you imagine what the fans must be going through right now?
I can because as an Arsenal fan, I used to go through a similar situation a couple years
But
ago.
this is even worse. Like this is so clueless. Like this is because they have got an owner like who's crazy.
The thing is used to it because they have experienced this before. And what happened next season was they went on to win Europa League and Champions League.
Yeah.
So they bounced back really high. So
But now it's like it's such a drop. Like it's
yeah, well they're gonna undergo some nice dark period. So
no.
let's
This
see.
is
We'll
very dark for Chelsea.
yeah.
Okay.
My I would like to talk about my villain of the week, and it has to be Jorginho Frello because oh, he's from Chelsea. He used to be a Chelsea player.
Didn't we praise him before that? Like didn't we say he was
No,
a great signing for us?
but that's because as a fan of football, he's a great player. But the thing is that I don't know. He just costed us the game,
Yeah, but that
and whenever he plays for some injured player, like whenever we put him as a substitute, he always costs us. If you think of it, because
really.
last season our bad run started because of him. We
Hmm.
started putting him instead of Thomas Partey or Xhaka, and then it was just bad.
It looks like you're scapegoating him, Rup. I'm not sure.
Well, he's the villain.
Okay,
I'm
he's your
sorry, but
villain, not
yeah.
mine.
Well, villain is a villain. I'm not gonna
Okay.
sugarcoat him.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm just making notes. You know why? Spoiler alert, because at the end of the show, I have to do the language corner. I just want to go through some
Ooh,
vocabulary for the learners, so just
right.
explain a few phrases that were uttered by Nrup here and myself, possibly even. Nrup, do you know what we have to talk about? Something
What?
that I wouldn't ever, in the wildest dream, imagine you being so good at. Do you like the build up?
Oh yeah, big time. I was like, what am I good at?
Everything, man, but especially the thing that we call Fantasy Premier League.
So I'm good at fantasies, huh? I'm
I
good
mean,
at creating
you
fantasies.
you were rubbish last season. Last season was your
I
first season.
was.
You were
Yeah,
learning
yeah,
you
yeah.
were learning the game. But this season, you're absolutely nailing it. Just look
Mate,
at you. Not don't look at me. Don't look at me. Oh my god, am I in the 15th place now? What the? I thought
mate,
I was in the 10th.
I'll tell you, Zenik. I don't want to brag, but I missed I missed two match day weeks because I was traveling and I was
Ah,
out of internet. So I didn't change my team for 2 weeks and somehow
yeah.
they helped me get to top three.
You should
But
email them and just ask them for a refund or something. It might
yeah,
give you some extra free transfers or something like that.
wild card.
Look at you. Look at you in the third
Not
place.
bad, not bad, not bad.
So I started off the season so well. I think I was in top 5 and then
Look at
slowly but
Honza.
Honza, my cousin, he's in the
Yeah,
7th place.
yeah, he's doing pretty
How is
good.
he so good? How is he so good? He's playing with Declan Rice in the team. Declan Rice, a defensive
Yeah,
midfielder, and yet
me too, me too.
You have
I have
Declan
played
Rice as well.
I have played Declan Rice almost every week. Almost every week.
Well, he
And
did
last
score one
week,
goal.
yeah, that and he always gives me like 4 or 5 points at least.
Well, I have to say, I made a terrible mistake this game week, which cost me like 6 points. You know what it was?
Well, same for me. It costed me 5 points, and that was I subbed off Gerard Bowen.
Do you know what I did?
What did
Nope.
he do? Chilwell. Oh
I
no.
no, I played Turner.
Oh
I
no, I
played
totally
Turner
forgot
by
about him.
accident. Nottingham player, Nottingham Forest goalkeeper against Manchester City away from home,
Yeah.
and I have Onana.
I
It
know.
was
I've been there. I've been
I just
there.
forgot about that. I would always make that change. Like it's just something I forgot about.
But hey, it's just the sixth. It's just match day 6, so it's not a big deal. I'm
Look at
sure
Chil.
there's going to be lots of more objects.
Well, were it not for Trippier and Saka, I don't
Yeah.
even count Haaland because everybody has Haaland. So basically, the reason I'm still able to even play this game, like as you can say, I'm way below the average number of points.
Mm.
The reason
Mm.
I can still play is because of those two. Had it not been
Yeah.
for them, I
Yeah.
would be out of the game. I would
Three
be.
actually. You forgot about Haaland.
Haaland doesn't count because everybody has him. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Well, okay.
He kind
Fair
of
enough.
doesn't count. You know what I mean?
I don't know why you have Sterling. I mean, I know like I
Well,
don't know why.
because
And you have two Chelsea players. Come
I don't know
on.
what I had three. I started to sell them slowly.
And y- and you support West Ham on the other side. You have zero West Ham players.
I have just bought a West Ham player for the
Okay.
next round. Do you know? Do
Okay.
you want to know who?
Sure. Yeah.
Ward Prowse. Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm quite proud of this.
Is that
Proud.
your Czech accent?
Yeah, that's a no. It's a joke. It's a terrible
No, I know.
joke.
I
And
know. I know. I know.
right. Yeah, I'm thinking of wildcarding. To be honest with you, like it's so bad right now. I think I can't wildcard yet. The Chilwell thing that's really bothering me. Why did
I
he
still
lose
don't.
his place? How did he lose his place, man?
I don't know. But I would really like to know when is the best time to do the wild card because it's only once a season, right?
Twice.
Twice.
It's
Okay.
yeah, just midway through the season, like you got another, like you've got another sort of yeah. The first, how many matches are there? 38, right?
38.
So 19 games, and then there's like a dividing line, and then another 19 games. So you have to use it by the end of that 19th game, otherwise you lose it,
Hmm.
and then you've got one more after that. I don't know when there is a bad time for wildcard. All those sort of experts, the FPL experts, say that it could be any time, depending on your situation, right? So if you are in trouble now, if you've got a lot of injured players or players who are out of form, then do it now. For example, I saw Leontes. Leontes' team doesn't look very good right now, so just do it, man.
Well, at the beginning of the season, no, sorry, somewhere in the middle of the season, like I think around match day 2 or 3, I had like 4 players injured, and
It's,
among them, it was one of them was a goalkeeper. I was like, I just couldn't play anyone then. Somehow
no,
Haaland was carrying my team. Yeah.
are your housemates making popcorn or something?
No, I'm actually there's a fireworks show happening right now because
Ah,
I live next to a small stadium which hosts rugby games
ah.
and mainly dirt bike. And today there's a huge event happening. So every year people they come all the way from nearby countries like Poland, Hungary, Germany, and Czech Republic. And I think the tournament just ended, so there's a celebration going on.
So this is not related to Arsenal or your FPL team.
Nothing, nothing related to your show as well.
Okay. Then. Well, I guess, Nope. I guess that's where we will leave it. I forgot to oh no, I didn't. Everything is fine. All good. And all that remains is now the language corner, for which I will release you, Noop. I hope you're
Thank you
okay with
very
that.
much. Oh yes,
Unless you choose to stay here.
I
Nobody has
think.
ever done that though.
Well, I think
You would be the first
I'll have to act like an audience then because the
if
the
you want.
language corner is more for your viewers and you. So it's
Not
better.
for all of
But
them, as you can see, we've got some native speaker viewers as well watching. Actually, they just want to hear us ramble about football, I guess. So
I guess, yeah. So yeah, that was great.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on, and
Cheers, man.
hope it's not the last time. And
It's
I hope we
never.
can keep this show up. As you can see, we haven't been very consistent these days, and that's because it's not always easy to get those guests on. So if you are, oh my god, that was loud. If you are a football fan, you support any of the Premier League teams, or even if you support a championship team, that's okay. We can take on neutrals as well. Get get back to me. Send me an email at teachersdenek@gmail.com.
Could you
Just
please
say
put it?
hi, I would like to be on your show. I would like to come on as a guest. And you will do exactly this. You will talk about your team, how your team did. You will choose your hero of the week, your villain of the week. If you play the FPL, you will show us your FPL. If not, no problem. So you could be where Noop is right now, and we could even have 3 guests at the same time. So if you know of someone who might be interested in something like this, then pass me this person's number, please.
Yeah, we need more of those people.
Absolutely, we need more Noops.
Oh, then I guess my time's up.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Thank you very much for featuring, and
Cheers, man. Cheers.
until next time. Yeah,
Until next time. See ya.
take care, man. All right, everyone, let's go through some interesting vocabulary from this match. I'll try to keep it short. And at the beginning, I used this interesting phrase. I said that, hang on, give me 1 second. I just want to put it in the comments. I said that Sheffield United haven't exactly been pulling out trees, which is a phrase that I've learned from Clive. I like it a lot. To pull out tree, if you are not exactly pulling out trees, it means you're not playing really well, or you're not really achieving great things. Yeah, it's like an understatement of saying you have been kind of average, not very good, right? It's an understatement. So that's an idiom, by the way, an idiomatic phrase. Nrup said Newcastle have had a dodgy run of form. That's another good word there. Dodgy. Dodgy can have several meanings. One of them is suspicious. In this case, it means something like, again, not very good, a bit, they haven't been winning much, or they have been inconsistent, let's say. Yeah, so dodgy is kind of negative here. It's an adjective. All right, what do we have next? It's a feat in itself. I don't exactly know what I was referring to, but let's say it's like Son scoring 2 goals against Arsenal is a feat in itself. A feat, it means an achievement. Yeah, so another word for achievement. It's like a good thing to do, like a good thing to succeed at. An achievement. You know what an achievement is, right? Okay, so that's a feat. Then Nrup was talking about manager. This was the Chelsea manager, right? What's his name? I can't remember his name. It slipped my mind. The ex Tottenham manager. Oh, come on, Zdenek. Not Postecoglou, the other one. Can't think of his name. Anyway, he's a proven manager, but I don't rate him that high. Pochettino, got it. Pochettino is a proven manager, but Noob said, I don't rate him that high. So if you don't rate someone, learn it as a phrase. If you don't rate someone, you don't think they are that good. Yeah, you can rate someone highly as well. You could say that. And you could just say, I don't rate someone, or I really rate him, which means I think that player is really good. Okay. Then they lost Harry Kane. Hang on, Harry is spelled with double R. What would Harry Potter say if I did that? It would turn me into a frog. As a punishment, they lost Harry Kane. They lost their manager. A bit of turmoil at the club. So we're talking about Tottenham, of course, and we were sort of referring to the start of the season when they lost Harry Kane. They had a managerial change as well, and Rupp described it as a bit of turmoil. Turmoil is another word for, let's say, chaos. Um, let's say an uncertain period, a period of changes, um, where things are a little bit disorganized. Yeah, something like chaos. His delivery is always top notch, always top drawer. So, very nice two adjectives that are used to describe the way that James Ward Prowse takes his free kicks and corners. Delivery is like, I'm talking about the corners, the free kicks, how he delivers the ball into the box with his crossing abilities and the set pieces. And if you say something is top notch, it's really high level. Yeah, it's really good. The same with top drawer. Top drawer is I believe it's a metaphor from furniture. Top drawer, you have a chest of drawers, and the drawer at the top is the best one, right? Don't know why. I guess it's easier to get into, and I guess it's where you keep your best possessions, most uh, most highly rated possessions, or something like that. Top drawer, top notch mean both these phrases mean something really, really good or high level. It looks like you're scapegoating him. Oh my god, who were we talking about? Who were we talking about? Giorgino, right? I think was it. Um, if you make a scapegoat out of someone, you basically are blaming that person for something bad happening to you. And if you always scapegoat someone, you sort of do it, repeatedly. Yeah, you could say that, especially if you do it repeatedly, you could say that person has become a scapegoat, someone who is always blamed for something. And in this case, Nrup mentioned Giorgino, who, according to Nrup, did cost Arsenal a few games, something like that. Didn't exactly agree with him, but it's definitely a nice phrase to use. As you can see here, it's used as a verb, but it can be used as a noun as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the show. I should have said it at the beginning when we had like 30 people watching at the same time. Oh, that's a mistake. Should have begged my viewers for the likes. I mean, I'm not gonna beg. I'm just gonna tell you, just do it. All right, just do it. Smash the like button. Thank you so much, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.